What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Rhett and Evan from the Cannon Fire podcast, back today with another video about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, Evan, we have started to recap the Buccaneers 2021 season. We've got our season review show coming a little bit later on in the week. But for now, the question becomes, what's next for the Bucs? What is the next 3 to 4 months going to look like? Obviously, between now and the NFL draft in April, where business really starts to pick up. What are the Bucs' biggest priorities over the next few weeks here as we start to get ready for the motions of the offseason?
Well, I want to preface this with saying that this is assuming that Tom Brady is the quarterback. This, because obviously if he's not, then that changes a lot. But, I think when you're looking at this team, the depth at wide receiver wasn't as good as they thought. Truthfully, I'm a big fan of Tyler Johnson. Everybody who listens to the podcast knows that, but he wasn't good enough. Him, Jalen Darden, Scotty Miller got a little bit of opportunity and didn't play bad, but just didn't flash enough. Because like I said, he can't do everything that this offense wants him to do. And then guys like Brashad Perryman got hurt a little bit, made some plays. John Brown signed late. Surreal Grayson made some plays, then got hurt. It was tough sledding for this whole receiver room once Chris Godwin went down, Antonio Brown got cut. It's just the depth that the Bucs thought they were so good at failed them. So I think wide receiver has to be, it's going to sound crazy. And a lot of people are going to be like, wide receiver. But if you keep Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, wide receiver is going to have to be almost near the top. I think it's going to have to be, a top 3 or 4 needed for this team. In the NFL today, you need to have 3 receivers, basically. You need to have 3 productive receivers. Do you need to have 3 number ones like the Bucs did with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown? No, you don't need that. But you need to have 3 guys that you can consistently count on. And when one of those guys goes down, you can count on the other guy to step up. So I think the receiver is something you could look at. Obviously, running back, depending on, what happens in free agency, because Leonard Fournette, Ronald Jones, and Giovanni Bernard are all free agents. So Keyshawn Vaughn's the only running back on the roster that's under contract for next season. That's going to be a big one. That's going to be, it could look very different. That could be the room that looks completely different from this past season. So that'll be interesting to see. And on the defensive side, the corner, maybe, because let's say you do bring back Carlton Davis. If you franchise tag him, which I would guess they would, that means that Carlton Davis, Sean Murphy-Bunting, and Jamel Dean are all free agents the following offseason. You can't bring back all 3 of them. So even if a lot of people don't think Sean Murphy-Bunting's been good enough, even if you do think that, right? Even if you think he has been good enough, you can't bring all 3 of them back. So you might need to add a piece in the secondary there and for depth, and then just getting younger along the defensive lines. I think those are the main areas, right? There's a few you obviously just want to add depth all over the board, but I think you're looking at like a wide receiver, running back, getting younger up front on the defensive line, and maybe some depth in the secondary.
Yeah, in the NFL draft in April, the news came out today, the Bucs officially picking 27th. That is their official draft position. So if they trade it, they want to move up or down. We obviously have to wait and see. But assuming they stick around, take a pick at 27, that position that is so crucial in the first round to so many teams, we have to assume it's going to be, among the group of positions that you just talked about, whether it's getting younger in the trenches, I guess on both sides of the ball, because let's face it, Alex Kappa, a free agent, they're going to have a conversation with him. Ryan Jensen still have yet to confirm if he's going to be back or not. So I have to assume it's going to be in the realm of those positions you just mentioned where the Bucs are going to be looking for some younger talent, maybe.
Yeah, it could. I mean, Aaron Stinney, who could be in line to be Alex Kappa's replacement, is also a free agent. So what if you lose both of those guys? Then you're looking at possibly a guard being at one of your top priorities. It looks like they're set at tackles. I think Donovan Smith, while he had a rough day against the Rams, he's played well enough, and Tristan Wirfs is Tristan Wirfs, so they're set there, and obviously they're set with Ali Marpet. But there's a real possibility they need to be getting a new center and a new guard. The center, maybe Robert Hainsey can fill in, but if you don't feel comfortable with that, you'll have to make a move. And you mentioned the draft. The draft isn't the only way, right? This team, they brought everybody back. But to bring everybody back, they weren't very active in free agency last year. They basically signed one free agent, Giovanni Bernard, pretty much. That's during the free agency period, they signed one free agent. From outside the organization, I would expect. I'm not saying they're gonna go out and sign 15 new guys or spend huge money on guys, but I would expect them to add more than one. I think they're gonna add a few, new faces, possibly at those positions that we said. If they find a number 3 wide receiver that they like in free agency, who knows? If Leonard Fournette gets too expensive for them and they want to go with a replacement there, who knows? As a free agent running back. So the draft isn't the only way that you can fill those. And the draft is definitely a great tool to use, but also, free agency, which is something they didn't use last year because, one, they really couldn't, and two, they didn't feel like they needed to. And really, did they? I don't know. You could argue that, well, this team didn't win the Super Bowl, so clearly they did, but they still had success. They had the most wins in regular season history for the team. So, it will be interesting, and I think the Bucs will be active. Bruce Arians has said that their top priority is bringing everybody back, which you got to keep guys like Chris Godwin, Carlton Davis, even like Ryan Jensen, Rob Gronkowski. The tight end room is another one. I mean, Rob Gronkowski and OJ Howard are both set to be free agents. What if both those guys, what if Gronkowski retires and Howard walks? Then you're left with just Cameron Brate. Now you need to add a tight end. So, it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see what the team looks like. Maybe another pass rusher with Jason Pierre-Paul, possibly either retiring or not re-signing. A lot of it, we'll have our answers right before the draft. As far as like draft talk, we'll have our answers because free agency's before that, so we'll know pretty much who's who. But if they re-sign Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, wouldn't shock me at all to see them draft a wide receiver in the first round still. Like it really wouldn't, because like I said, I think that's the one position where that it hurt them. It really hurt them. And I think one of the big reasons they're not playing right now, number one's got to be probably health. But I think number 2 has got to be the depth of wide receiver, just not getting anything done.
Yeah, and if there's one thing that's been made certain, it is not only the finality of the NFL, but the finality of teams lasting together in the NFL. Will there be some familiar faces back on this Bucs squad in 2022? Absolutely. Are there going to be a lot of new guys? Absolutely. And a lot more new guys than there were coming into the 2021 season.
Yes.
That's for sure. And of course, as those moves are made, we will keep you updated on all the guys and the names you need to be on the lookout for this coming offseason. So plenty of great content there. Thanks for checking out this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for more great Buccaneers content. We got the podcast a couple of times a week, plus everyday uploads, Bucs news, and much, much more. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Are there any particular free agents that could be on the radar, or some guys that you think in particular the Buccaneers should show some interest in? We'd love to hear from you. Follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All of those are Cannon Fire Podcast. Thanks for watching this video. We'll catch you in the next one. Until then, and as always, go Bucs.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers from the 48-yard line. 2nd down, 13. Brady lobs one downfield. Caught ball by Gronkowski.